Hey guys, and welcome back to Number 9 Farms. Today we're going to be transplanting some tomatoes, and these were, I don't know if you remember or you saw the last video that I made on the plants before I left for the Wisconsin trip, and I had to leave one of my older boys in charge. And yes, they got leggy because he left the cover on them, the little seed cover, and I had told him that if once it started coming up he could take the cover off because they would be reaching for light, and he forgot about that part, but that's okay. So everything, they're all growing up and they're doing well. And I'm going to start off with first the Granny Cantrell, which is about Letty Cantrell. She had received some seeds for back in the 40s from after World War II from a soldier from Germany, and when she received the tomatoes, she, of course, planted them in the hills of Kentucky, and they grew, and that was her favorite tomato, and some of them reached 2.5 pounds. So I'm excited to see how those are going to do this year. And what else can I tell you about it? So this is new for me, these seeds, and it's like I said, these are really nice, and I'm just gonna pull these two apart and very carefully, saving both the little root balls. And I've got a whole bunch here to do. Some other things I'm gonna tell you about today, just about life. And you won't be needing these little side pieces anymore, so I go ahead and clip those off, and you can bury this as deep as you can. And even when I go to plant them in the bigger pots or the ground, whichever, you want to just bury it right up to here, and there you go. And that way it'll make for a really strong root system. So another thing what I wanted to tell you about is come May 4th, I'm going to be having a back surgery that I've been putting off for a really long time. And unless something happens where my insurance doesn't get approved or whatever, that will be the only way that I'm going to back out, because it's just gotten so bad that I have to do something about it. And I'm of course, been watching some YouTube videos on some things about how others, did. It's not exactly, the only time we really get to watch TV or even get to watch anything is late at night when we finally sit down, because we literally, the two of us, work non-stop every day. And it gets to be really a lot, of course, but the pain is just so intense, and I have to sleep with my legs propped up in the bed. Anyways, boring stuff. So I hope everybody's been doing good and getting ready for spring. Or I know my mom, she's down in Florida, and she's been having a lot of heat already. And last night they did drop down to, cooler night, and she said she had to turn her heat back on. So, which we didn't turn ours on, and we went down to 28. But that's what blankets are for, right? So what else can I tell you about? So anyways, let me talk about the tomatoes. So last week when I went on the trip to, actually, let's see, we got back last Wednesday, so it's already been a week and 2 days since we've been back. And we went to the market Saturday, and it was definitely busy because it was a nice day. And of course I came home and it was all I could do to get our little bit of chores done. And then I came on and, you know, took care of my plants, and then I pretty much quit for the rest of the day. And it was like, by that time it was like 8 o'clock anyway, so it's not like it was too bad, but it beats 11 o'clock, because normally that's what time that I quit. Alright, so the next one I'm getting ready to do is mortgage lifter. And mortgage lifter is one that actually like took 6 times, and the guy was actually able to pay off his mortgage. And then that was like, I think during the I want to say it was, I better look that one up before I tell you, because I think it was during like the Great Depression era. And yeah, I will look that up first before I say that, because I'm not sure. That was right. I looked it up to make sure, because I didn't want to tell you something. So what it was in the 1930s, and he had surrounded like a German Johnson, which is one of my very favorite, and I have grown those for many years. He surrounded that plant. He was able to take syringes and pollinate and get the mortgage lifter, which he sold the plants, the word got around, and he sold the plants for $1 each, which $1 each for a plant back in the 30s, that would have been good money. And he was able to pay off his $6,000 in 6 years. He was able to pay off his mortgage, and I think it was $6,000. And like this one book I'm reading right now, they talk about they went to buy the farm in Vermont, and the farm, he had to pay $800 for the farm. $800, and that was also in the 30s. So he builds his house out of stone right on the property. So I'll show you that book in a little while and show you. But I don't get to read much, but I do love to read. That is like one of my favorite things to do. But and I'm a big book person. But when I do get to read, I get right into it, and I get going. Anyways, and you want to plant these, fill off that little extra one. So, and I'll go ahead and keep working, and I will come back and show you some of the other things, and we'll talk about some more of the other plants. Okay, so what I wanted to also tell you was my brain goes all over the place, because one, I suffer from ADHD, and I go from one thing to the next, but I get things done. That's how mine works. So anyways, I wanted to tell you about the trip. So the trip was really good. Of course, we went there to help our oldest daughter, whose birthday is actually today. Happy birthday, Alexis. It's April 2nd. And when she helped, what she did, they're building a house. So the house that they're building is kind of like a barn dominium, and they needed help like sheeting the walls, and we were hoping to get the drywall done. But the first day we got there, and I'm telling you, it was brutal cold. When I mean cold, we're outside a lot, but I'm gonna tell you right now, it was cold. So the wind was blowing is why, and there's no heat in the building, although we have one of those, what Bruce calls it, Moby Dick. It's a giant heater, and it blows, and it works under propane. So we used that, and we were able to warm it up halfway decent. And Lexus, she cooked some good little meals. And when Garrett got there, we went to the A&W, and I got me a root beer, because I do love root beer. So we went there. Bruce worked till like 11 o'clock at night every night, helping them. Garrett had to go to work, so Garrett had to leave. On Friday we were there. We got there Wednesday night. Thursday we helped with the plywood. On Friday I stayed with the boys, my little grandsons, 3 and 2. I can't write and talk at the same time. They were a lot of fun. And Nikki, which she helped let us stay at her house because they were actually visiting in Branson, Missouri. So that was nice. I'm gonna go over here and put these plants under the lights just so I can get them out of the way. So what else could I tell you about the trip? So Saturday, after working all day, we drove all the way up to Upper Peninsula, Michigan, where my son Cody, his fiance lives. So Amelia, they're going to be getting married in September. So we drove up there, and once we got up there, we stayed at, because it was so cold at his house, his heater he has a boiler, and the boiler had quit working, and so we got to stay at her mom and dad's cabin. It's what they call, a camp, and it was really a lot of fun. It was a nice place, very nice place. So we were very thankful for that. And Paul and Kelly let us drive, which is Alexis's mother and father-in-law. They let us drive their car up there to the they had an extra car basically, so they let us drive that up there. And so when I got back, that's where I'm getting to. So when we got back, Colby had watered the German Johnsons a whole lot. Like, they were just like really, I mean, I explained to him that you can overwater them and do just as much damage as you can underwatering them. Stresses them out. So basically what he had done was he watered them too much. So they had gotten the powdery mildew on them, and all I do for that is I have one of those quart bottles, which I've shown y'all in the other videos. I don't know what I did with it now. Sometimes. Anyways, it's just a spray bottle that I showed y'all in one of the other videos. My husband, he'll move stuff too. And I put 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in there with the water, and I just spray right on the powdery mildew, and it just goes away. Because basically the apple cider vinegar kills it, the powdery mildew. And here it is right in front of me. So this is it right here, and you just get one of these. I got this at Home Depot, I think. So that's all I did, and of course it healed up. And I had the same problem last year because we had such cold and rainy days down at the greenhouse that the temperature was fluctuating one day or to the next, and it stresses the plants out, and here comes that powdery mildew. So go ahead and make sure, if you do have that problem, I just use this little bottle filled up with water, and it is 56 ounces, and I put 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar in here, and that's it. And it works like a charm. It almost like instantly kills it. In the next couple days, it's like scabbed over brown. I can show y'all that down at the greenhouse. Alright guys, I'm gonna keep working. So I wanted to show you some more of my plants. Okay, remember I told you I was gone. So these are the ones that I'm going to grow in the tent this year. I don't know why my brain went blank. Anyways, these moringa seeds, I've got 3 moringa trees now. I'm not going to grow those in the tent. I brought them in because they are tropical, and we went down to 28 last night. So I did have them in the greenhouse with 2 heaters on, but the first time they went in the greenhouse, it got kind of cold that night, and they didn't look so happy the next morning. So but I wanted to show you. This is the Micro Tom, and like I said, I got this from Baker Creek, and look what it's doing. Ta-da! And I do have fans on them and stuff like that, so you know, it helps with pollination because they're self-pollinators. And then look here, this one is the Cayenne Long Thin, and you can see all the little blooms. And then this is that subarctic one that I was telling you about from Canada, and look at that. And you probably can't see very good now that I think about it. I opened the curtain, but I did turn the light off because the light is so powerful. Alright, so that, and I wanted to show you this too. So I've got the mint, and I just took this out of my yard where we have a lot of mint, and I put the root tone on it, and of course, look, that's not even but what, maybe a few days. It really went to town. Okay, so coming over here, I have got some more seedlings planted up here for, I have zucchini, squash, and cucumbers down here. So, and then I got here, these are so tomorrow at the market I'll be taking like these sweet 100 cherries, things that people ask me for, and so I have specific things that I need to get out to them. And this is the blue butterfly pea, which their success rate is not as great, but I was able to get 2 up there, and I think this one here is in here in this. So that doesn't, I don't know, it looks like the same, so we'll go, I don't know, it doesn't have the, I don't know about that. And these are the Job's Tears, which is a grain. And let's see, and then these here, I told you about, their leggy, because he didn't take the cover off, so they were reaching for light, but I'll fix that. And then also, so these are the only ones I have left in here. So I've got some of the spilanthes left, the datil, carnival peppers, and over here I got some basil. And these are the ones I transplanted today, right here. And they're, of course, they're going to be a little on the weak side because they don't, you know, like that little initial shock that they go through for being transplanted. Sometimes, not always. All right, and now I'm going to carry y'all down to the greenhouse and show you all the plants that were in here the last video down to now they're down at the greenhouse. And I did sell 5 trays. So we're in the greenhouse now, and I just wanted to show you how we had moved all the plants down here. What was it? Sunday, wasn't it? And so we had days like 80 degrees, and then like last night we went down to 28. So but we do have 2 heaters in here, both of them here this size, and all the plants are doing good. And I wanted to show you what I was talking about on the German Johnson. So here's the little German Johnson. So it got the powdery mildew and while I was gone, and all I did was spray it when I got back, and it does like a scab off. And all I do now, once I get plant them, I'll plant them really deep anyway, and they'll be as tall as the high tunnel, which is 16 feet high. It'll be barely touching it. So everything is looking good. You see the thermometer up here. So it's like last night with both the heaters on, we went down to what, about 62 in here. So everything is doing really good. I just wanted to show you an update and how things went after the trip from Wisconsin. So I'm very impressed with how he did a good job. And I'm going to show you some stuff outside now, so come on out. So what I wanted to show you outside now, since this year with the back surgery coming, and I know, you know, this is not Bruce's thing, growing these things. he'll water stuff, and help me, but
It's going to be the best year we've ever had now that I'll be in charge of these plants, you guys. You'll have to just watch and see.
I had to go more container-wise, and which is fine. I'm okay with that because, you know, as y'all saw in the high tunnel, I did a lot of containers last year, gearing up for this. So anyways, I've got strawberries in here, and these wonderful cloth pots, they have been really nice. I've enjoyed them. I had used them last year, this year. So, and I wanted to show you in here. What do we have here? This is the this is the little bok choy that I had planted. Well, since this was new for me, and then these were the radishes that got real leggy from when Colby took care of them. But what these right here, since it was the first time I'd planted them, I couldn't separate them, so I just let them be the way they are. And the reason I put the agribon on top was because, one, we got down so low, and two, the when I first transplanted them, I didn't want them to get scorched because those were some of the days that we were having 80 degrees. And I've got beets under there, and those were the beets that were in the house that were seeds I'd found in a cup. And then I did plant some carrots in both of these. And I've got the onions in here, and over here I got more onions, and they have done exceptionally well already. And then over here, every year I always plant peas. Well, I usually plant them in, we call them May peas, but I usually plant them in the raised beds that are long, and Bruce has string for me. So this year we did them in these nice containers. So, and we've already been harvesting our kale, and we are going to freeze dry some of that, and also do some pressure canning for our soups. Alright guys, well this is it. This was just wanted to give you a little update on how things were going with the plants.